Clickbait.
Did you really have to do that, Jordan? Did you really have to do that?
Hi guys.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about what happened in Montenegro. That's definitely a way to cold open a stream. But before we do that, we've got to introduce ourselves. So, hi, I am Love Stuff, and
And I am a
welcome to
short
the
KKC, aka Jordan from Eurovision fam.
and
What's up, you guys?
welcome to another episode, installment, whatever we're calling this, of the Eurovision Fam weekly live stream.
Mm-hmm.
So, hello everyone, welcome.
Ciao,
Um,
ciao.
yeah, it was a holiday weekend. We had some announcements come through about artists. We had our first
Mm-hmm.
national final of the season as well, and our first kind of what of the national final season too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So let's just take a quick look here. I'm sorry.
So,
Yeah.
it was Montenegro who selected you guys. Montenegro has picked their song, and it has all kinds of colorful opinions so far. But we can discuss this. We can discuss.
I mean, I watched the show.
Mhm.
I kind of had to watch it. I already knew like the results and everything going in. So when I went to go watch it later on in the day, I was like, okay, let's see what happens with this performance and see if I can understand what maybe happened.
Mhm.
And we can definitely talk about things because I don't think that what is it, NeoneoN
Ne- NeonoeN, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
and NeoneoN. I don't think they had the strongest performance of the night. Um, I don't think like I just we need to talk about it, but that is the people who won.
Mm-hmm.
And their song is called Clickbait. So, what do you feel about this? Is our first song of the year. How do you feel about our
It
first song
is.
of the year?
So, if any of you, like, everyone hold my hand. If any of you were in the Eurovision fandom when Intelligent Music Project came out with
Oh,
with I don't even remember the name of that song, but that song, it was kind of a
divorced
similar,
dads.
yes, Divorced Dad
Um,
from 2022, Bulgaria's last participation. When that came out and everyone was just like, this is like a liminal dream. This is I'm in like a closed space, and kind of just went back dormant after the season. I'm kind of getting a similar vibe off of that, and I think it's just because no one really saw this coming. I do think the winning song has the kind of sound that's going to end up growing on people. It's going to appeal to like the Roblox crowd,
what
and
does the Roblox crowd even mean?
like 13-year-old boys, I guess. I don't even know.
Okay, I don't know anything about Roblox.
I mean, I know that much more than you, I guess, but I think it's gonna have its appeal. I'm gonna stop talking. Please.
It's not awful.
It's not. It's not the worst
It
thing
is
ever, you guys.
better. It is better than. Thank you, Mark, for bringing us the name of that song, Intention. Um,
Intention. Thank you, Mark.
I think it's better than that. It doesn't
Mhm,
have divorced dad energy, but even then, there's a bit of a resurgence of divorced dad music, especially on TikTok with the youth. They
mhm.
seem to love themselves some Creed. Um,
Why is that?
I don't know. I think it's like people are my age who are like used to listening to Creed in the back of their parents' car. Um, yeah, I just I don't know. So maybe
Just it's the cycle of culture, I guess.
there will be a everything's on like a 20-year cycle, so that makes
Mhm,
sense. So that would appeal to some people. Um, musically, it's definitely a rock song. And it's not like super dated or anything,
it's just
but
like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
it's just there's something about a song that repeats the only parts in English are clickbait that made me go, you know, it gives me
Very
pause.
older, like Naughty's Eurovision vibe with that.
Yeah,
It's which is kind of bolstered by the fact that the instrumental sequences between when they say clickbait sounds like a GameCube fighting game menu select screen, like that
yeah.
little like techno bits. And it's just like, ah, okay, I'm about to press continue or new, or like I'm about to select my character. That kind of music. It fits a
Hmm.
very niche kind of experience, at least in my youth, that has nothing to do with music. And I kind of find it endearing slightly, but the song itself, it's 3 minutes. It's Montenegro's 3 minutes. Let's talk about the show though, because I mean, like,
I
it
think
was
it was a good show. I
yeah.
think, okay, number one, I wanna Donna and all her outfits endlessly fascinate me.
LaDonna, you're perfect.
Also, can we have I have a question.
Mhm.
Does the Balkans just not have warm lighting?
Oh, it needs to be ice cold chill lighting the entire.
Like, I was like, all I could think is like, wow, this is some cold lighting. And
Mhm,
now I'm looking at my lighting. And I'm like, oh, it's too cold. Let me warm this up. Hold on.
mhm.
You can speak while I fix this.
So you guys, this was the first national final of the year. I also watched it, as did Lily, and I'm sure a number of you also did. It was a very unique show because didn't hold on, one, two, three, four, five, 6 acts got 0 points in the televote.
Which is wild to me.
6. We thought it was wild when well, I mean, I guess it was a little crazier in 2021 when 4 acts got 0 points because more people were voting. But in Montenegro, just seeing like zero after zero after zero for acts that were kind of hyped in the
Yeah.
community, that was a little jarring, especially to see there is a huge divide between what Montenegrins want and what Eurovision fans want for Montenegro. You see such a stark divide in this selection. And so I'm going to read to you guys starting from like fifth place and going up. We have Kate with Blinding Lights. I'm sorry, Obala Raya.
Oh my
We have
god.
Georgia with Tolubavie, Bariak with Dva Serca, Nina Žižić with Dobrodošli, and NeonoeN with Clickbait. And the difference between first and second place was a point, according to the Montenegrin calculations. And the top, it was pretty stacked. Like just a couple votes could have had one over the other. But there were a number of songs, and I feel like a lot of people would agree. There were a number of songs in this selection which would have been competitive for the Eurovision final.
Yes.
There were
And I
like a handful of them.
and we had some gorgeous ballads. It's like I don't think any other country is willing to give us a Balkan ballad because I feel like Montenegro always kind of hangs out in the space of like nostalgia when it comes to Eurovision, which
Mhm.
they're doing this year as well.
Yeah.
But I would like to have I love a Balkan ballad. It's just there's something about a Balkan ballad that gets me. And like
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of ballads for the most part, but just like hearing the way that they happen, I totally vibe with. And it's like, I think like when we think of Eurovision, we think every country kind of has its own slot that they sit into.
Yeah,
And I think Montenegro's slot is a slot of nostalgia.
I agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah. I really think that like sitting in that nostalgic space works is like their vibe they want to go for.
Mhm.
Um, I'm kind of surprised I didn't see more, maybe because it was such a Balkan heavy like competition that they kind of all ate each other.
That's what I'm kind of thinking too, because there were a really good number of Balkan ballads. I want to say there were like 5 or 6,
Because
which at the end of the
there were
day,
what, like 16 songs in total in the competition?
yeah, there were 16 songs. A good number of them
Okay.
were ballads, at least half.
More than half. I'd say like 10.
Hmm. So, I mean, in that regard, it's easy to see why they kind of ate each other during the competition. It's because like it is in the similar familiar space that Montenegro typically hangs in. But
Yeah.
Balkan Ballad, we haven't quite seen them do in a number of years.
Yeah, because
Breathe, I
I'm
don't
looking.
count because Breathe it was not Balkan enough for me.
Yeah. So looking here, in the top five, we had the two rocker song, like the two rocky songs, Badiak
Mhm.
and NeoneoN. Um, or NeoneoN. I can't say that. I'll figure it out at one point. I've got time. So we had those two in the top three, and then
Mhm.
one ballad, which would have been for Nina, as the second one. So maybe if it wasn't such a ballad heavy competition, we would have seen a ballad rise to the top, like all the way to the very top.
Yeah. I mean, even the dancier songs had like kind of the beltiness that a ballad does, so that also might have contributed because Clickbait is not a vocal song at all.
Yeah. All right, so now we have Georgios Papadopoulos with which 0 point surprised you?
Let me have a
Which,
look here, actually.
which one
I
getting
would probably
absolute
say
zero?
Tamara Zivkovic Poguban Let, because I just thought it kind of hit all the marks to be good, and then it
Uh-huh.
just didn't land. Like, I don't know. That was just one that I really misunderstood as to why it got basically nothing. And also, Dulce Hera repeat. Come on.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one. I
Come
was like
on.
kind of
Ugh.
surprised by, because that got, yeah, it was an absolute zero there. I kind of get why it didn't get zero, why it got zero, because
Mhm.
that performance was really messy and the staging was kind of like, what's going on here?
It was confusing and ugly.
Yeah, but I thought it was like interesting enough as a composition to get some kind of love from
I
the
loved
jury.
it. I adored it. It was awful. It was
It felt
terrible, but
like
I loved it.
it felt like it was messy on purpose
Yeah.
as an artistic expression.
Mhm. Which, I mean,
Um,
when you go far enough into that, if you lean far enough into that, you surpass the cheesiness, and then you just look unique. You look like you're delivering something. There's one act in here that I don't feel like succeeded in that, and that is Gloomsy Band Sun. I feel like they leaned too hard into trying to take themselves too seriously, and it came off
yeah.
like that kind of awkwardness. But she surpassed that. Dulce Hera, she surpassed that awkwardness and said, I'm going to be wearing this brown dress with words on it.
From Peter Hadich, Dolce Hera, like one comment said, as a lost Constructa's sister. I mean, they're both
High
hanging
concept.
out in that like Marina Abramovich space. So hey,
Hmm.
um, or the you know what I was doing on Thursday? I was deep diving Yoko Ono's work. I don't know why I had the sudden urge to,
On
but
Thanksgiving Day.
you know what? Hey, but yeah, it also fits in that kind of performance art space as well.
Hmm. Yeah, it
But
does.
like I like that kind of pretentiousness. It's enjoyable to me.
It's cocky. Yeah. It's just like,
It's
I
like,
want to wear a dress that captures absolutely no light.
and then like the backing dancers dressed as like monks. It was choices were made.
Until Mr. Man with the booty shorts came out and then started like
I
breaking.
was I was lost. I was lost, but then I was
And
found.
then the drum
And
solo, like
it
cohesion
was
who? Girl, we're fighting cohesion. Cohesion, come here.
Sweet Lana. What was her name? Sweet Lana Loboto
Svetlana
from
Loboda. Yeah, she channeled the anti-crisis girl within her.
Found Crying.
Hmm.
Um,
But yeah,
I'm sorry,
all
I'm just
respect
looking
to Dulce
here.
Hera, because no one has done that, I think, before. No one ever will do that before. That is, I like uniqueness more than I like conventional goodness or like quality. So that did it for me. Nice, very
Yeah,
nice.
and then we have a comment from Diego Rodriguez. Why would believe a ballad from Montenegro would have done as well as Teodora did, coming 10th in the semi? I don't necessarily think that.
Hmm.
I just think a ballad would have done better than what this is going to do.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. Could any of the ballads have struggled as much in the Eurovision semi as we believe this one is going to? Very potentially. But there's
Mm-hmm.
also just a bit, I feel like the appeal is just better for what the audience that watches Eurovision than the one that doesn't. And I feel like it's gonna be more, yeah, it would just be stronger if it were a ballad. That's just my inkling.
You have people who tune into Eurovision for a Balkan ballad.
Yeah.
There's not so many people who turn into Eurovision to watch what we're getting with Clickbait.
Hmm. Well, I mean, even for the people who watch what we're tuning into, like to get with clickbait, there are other attempts at this kind of sound that punch harder and punch higher than clickbait. So, like clickbait, even
And
if it's trying to fall into that space, doesn't even really shine so strongly in that space.
and it feels weird because like we're discussing this song that we only have one song going to the competition this year, and we only have two artists who are going to be performing so far.
Hmm.
But it just feels like this is the kind of song that doesn't do well. This is the
Yeah,
kind of song that sounds like, I like, no fault to the musicians or anything like that, but this song sounds like it's going to come pretty low in the semi.
yeah. It just kind of has that not really far-reaching vibe about it, which yeah, once again, kind of attesting to what Lily was saying, it has nothing to do with their artistic merit. It just has to do with how Eurovision as a system, as a game operates, and what the people are ultimately going to look at as competitive, especially with Montenegro, who relies on neighbor support a lot.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the Balkans do like a dated rock song, so hey, they might get some points from like depending on what the draw is.
Yeah.
Some neighbor votes, and like, hey, one of my favorite songs from 2021. I'm sorry, not 2021. My favorite songs from 2022 came last in it to me. It's just sometimes
Mm.
certain sounds don't work for Eurovision.
Yeah. And also in 2022, Guilty Pleasure didn't qualify either. So, and that's Balkan, but I'm not getting on that point right now. You'll hear me talk about that plenty when Dora comes back around. But what else do we need to say about Montenegro? I mean, for what it was worth, for having the first national final in a good number of years since D-Mall, pretty well done, Montenegro.
I think it was a good.
Pretty
I
well
think it was a
done.
good national final.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is I'd say take it down from 16 songs to like 10,
Mhm.
somewhere around 10 at most.
Yeah.
Don't have so many ballads.
Mhm.
Kind of
Stagger it out a
don't.
little bit more.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just got a text message and I'm like, what? Sorry. I'll let her know. Anyways, yeah, like I just kind of am in this kind of mental space of like, it was a good show. I think that they put in a good effort. I would take down a couple of like, I like how fast it got
Mhm.
once the show got started. Like
Yeah.
it was just song after song after song, not really a lot of filler in there. I
Plenty of the
like
chorus.
that. I think like the it was a, we can call it a postcard, I guess, but like kind of like the little video that introduced each one of the acts
Those
felt
were
like it was
cute.
like
Those were
from the
cute.
opening of a very dramatic soap opera.
Mhm.
I was into that as well. I like. I thought it was a good national final. I really think it was good, and I liked having Vladana there as a host.
Mhm.
Um,
Very
I think
good
that.
execution. The styling was
Mhm.
nice. Like they
Well,
put together
her
a very
styling is
special
always
national
great.
final.
I'm sorry, even when she's wearing something crazy, her styling is always good. It's like something I like about her. She's one
Mhm.
of those she's one of those women who can pull off the eclectic look so well,
Yeah.
and for
Oh
that
yeah.
I am jealous. All of my envy.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it was an overall decent national final. Um, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Now we have two options here. Do you want to
I,
go? Do you want to start off with the worst and then go to the better?
um
Because I know
I
we're going to discuss. We're going to compare and contrast
Yeah, we're
these
gonna
two.
compare and contrast, but I will actually let's start off with the one that we found out sooner.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys, we found out the artist for Melodifestivalen, and we've also found out the titles of their songs. Melodifestivalen, in case you guys don't know, is the Swedish national final. It is a TV program in Sweden that is this year going to last for 5 heats plus a not a second round heat, but something where they kind of do second. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
And to select the Swedish song, and we have some previous winners in this Melodifestivalen, as we typically do. So,
Do I
we're-
just have you read the first heat? I'll read the second heat. We'll do it that way.
okay, sounds good. So, starting off in the first heat, we have Adrian Macias with Vår första gång. We have Albin Jonsen featuring Pa with Upp i luften. John Lundvik is back. He won Melodifestivalen in 2019 with Voice of the Silent is the name of the song this year. Linnea Henriksson with Den Känslan, Maya Ivarsson with Kamikaze Life, Myra Omar with
Wow.
Hush Hush, and that wraps up Heat 1.
Yep. Okay. And then we have Heat 2. I am so sorry. I was trying to get a better organized version of Heat 2. So this is going to be with Schlagers
Mhm.
singing Don Juan. Then we have Nomi Talis with, but I'm sorry, I have it's behind this camera. So, with Funniest Thing. Then we have Clara Hammerstorm with On and On and On. Khalifa with Salute. Eric Sigerstadt with Show Me What I Love. Well, I'm sorry, Show Me What Love Is. Fredrik Lundman with Heart of a Swedish Cowboy. Very curious about what a Swedish cowboy is. Yeah.
I mean, we get some flecks of what a Swedish cowboy is in the country acts in Melfest, so we're gonna see how that goes.
Yeah, I guess.
Three, everyone. Angelina with Teardrops. Annika Vikkehalder is back with Life Again. Björn Holmgren is singing Rädda Dolly Style is back with Yeehaw.
Is that a
Gretzula.
Swedish cowgirl?
Well, I thought they were trying to go for like the Harajuku thing. Harajuku, Swedish cowgirl. I'm for it. Gretula,
We have.
Believe Me. And last in Heat 3, Malu Pritz is back with 24 karat gold.
I'm happy to see her back.
As always.
Yeah, and then we have for Heat 4, it is Kaj with Bara Bara Batsu. Did I say that right? Yeah, I did. Oh, kind of
Yeah.
close. I messed up, but hey. Ella Tiritio with Bara Du Arda. Then Amina with Do Good, Be Better. Man Zemelov with Revolution, again a returning winner. Andreas Lundstedt with Vicious. Tennessee Tears with Yours.
And last we have Heat 5. Arvingarna, Ring Baby Ring.
Yes.
Arwen with This Dream of Mine. Saga Ludvigsson with Hate You So Much. Scarlett with Sweet and Psycho. Victoria Silvstedt with Love It. And last act in Melodifestivalen, Wilhelm Bukaus with I'm Yours. You guys recognize a couple of these names. You guys recognize a good number of these names.
Yep. Yes.
So
We do.
Let's talk about this. What is Melfest going to do this year? Because we have a number of them who have come to the contest and won it. We have a number of them who've come to the contest with the blood on their teeth to win it, and it hasn't happened yet. We have a number of new folks. But what do you think is going to go on?
I think it's going to be a lot of meh.
Men?
I think it's going to be a lot of
men?
meh. No,
You
meh.
Men? Oh.
No. Mayfest IMO. Hopefully, at least Scarlett will have another banger.
Circus X, that was. Circus X, that hit.
Yeah.
Okay, we have
for me,
Scarletts in here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I said yes when I heard the name Arvingarna. I just like my Swedish dads. I like them when they show up and they're there to have a good time. They're going to sing some kind of Schlager song and I'm going to enjoy every second of it because I just do that. I'm predictable.
I think Arvingarna, they're going to have that like older male Schlager, like, I've been divorced for 10 years. Like, I know what my happiness is.
You know what?
Kind of
I need a collab between them and what was her name? The auntie from Montenegro who was living her best life in like karaoke.
Oh, Tina Junkic.
Yes. Oh man. Can I get that team up, please?
Which, by the way, Tina, we didn't highlight you in the Montenegro segment. Phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Flawless. And maybe it's because it's the Thanksgiving holiday, but she was serving auntie 100%. And I was the hair, the outfit. She was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top 5 in my book.
I'm not hyped about this lineup at all.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about what we're concerned about because this is the adult contest. We can talk about what concerns us.
I'm seeing a lot of Jimmy Joker in here as songwriting credits. Oh, Lord, there's a song that's a Laurel Barker and Liamu vehicle. That's a combination Laurel. I didn't want to see.
Well, I mean, I was wondering when we were gonna get Liamu back, but like as a writer, I feel like he has some chops as a writer sometimes.
Wait, is this a Lorraine song?
Yes, there is a Lorraine song in the lineup.
Okay, that's Ella Tiriatello with Para Duardar.
That would be exciting. I want to know what a Lorraine song sounds like in Melfest without her as without her as the image of it.
I'm just looking
Also,
at these
like,
songwriters' names.
but before we get into twisting these Swedish men, I do want to say I'm really intrigued by the title, "Do Good, Be Better" by Amina. I feel like that's gonna hit that kind of Cornelia Jacobs
Yeah, that
vein.
could be special. That could be something
Yeah,
really special.
it could hit that
Um,
Cornelia Jacobs like nerve in me, which I'm hopeful for.
Happy to see Carly Hammerstorm back. Not
Mhm.
happy with looking at these songwriting credits though.
Wait, so who's the credit on Clara's song?
Dino, Jimmy Jansen, Clara Hammerstorm, Cassiopeia,
Too many cooks in the kitchen
Peter
already.
Bostrom, and then Thomas Jason.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many
That
cooks.
has me concerned. That has me real concerned.
Like
I'm not
I'm
gonna
gonna work
lie.
with all the songwriters who have something under their belt, and I'm gonna have it be cohesive and work with my artistic style. I'm not outright doubting you, Clara. I am not doubting you. I'm just saying this is gonna be a very difficult kind of thing to pull off, especially because stylistically, a lot of them are similar.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these songwriters' names. I'm just like, oof. I'm a little worried here. I'm worried about a song called
What if
Kamikaze Life. Not gonna lie.
yeah.
Oh, that one is the songwriters on there are Andreas Gidi Lindberg, Jimmy Joker Thornfelt, Joy
Mhm.
Deb, Lena Deb, and then Maya Iverson. Something about the Debs and Jimmy Joker together. A little
What would
worried
happen if we
there.
had a Melfest where we were cleansed of all of them? Like, what if we had a Mel? Wait, no, we can. We have a show that's like that, and it's in a different country, and we'll get to that soon.
Yeah. I think Melfest's biggest issue is just it's the songwriting, the fact that like every song has a recognizable name on it is my
Mhm.
biggest issue, I think, on Melfest at this point. Especially when some people collab and you're like, ugh, come on.
Well, I feel
We'll let
like
you two
also when
talk.
people apply for Melfest, it's become less like a Swedish cultural showcase of new music, and it's become more like I want to go to Eurovision. What's the most strategic way I can get there? Kind of a show.
I think with Melfest, it's a songwriting competition more than it is a
Mhm.
song competition.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm all for respecting songwriters and giving songwriters their flowers,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, the
I'm
majority
tired.
of people don't care about songwriters. Your
Yeah.
average person watching something or listening to music or consuming music isn't going to go, oh, that's a song by insert person here, if that person is not the one performing the song, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
And I think the other issue is that there's so many cooks in the kitchen on these songs because they all come from like pretty mature songwriter camps
Mhm.
that you don't really get an authentic voice for that person as a songwriter. Like Bobby Gentry, I adore her. She's probably one of my favorite songwriters from like the 60s and the
Mhm.
70s. You've heard songs by her that she wrote, but are cover versions of her songs.
Mhm.
She's got a great voice, great storytelling. Like her most famous song is probably Fancy, but the Reba McEntire version is more popular than her version.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
and that song has such a clear storytelling to it, and I think it's a good entryway to her music because then when you listen to things like, um, oh my gosh, oh to Billy Joe, that's not right. Oh my god, what's it called? It's gonna hurt my feelings. I'm so bad. Hold on. Um, I had a thought and it's gonna like not work now. Okay, I am sorry. Yeah, I was right. Ode to Billy Joe. So like a song like that has such a strong storytelling element, and you can tell with the music she writes where she comes from. She comes
Mhm.
from rural Mississippi, and you can hear that voice clearly in the song she makes, especially with their storytelling elements. And I just feel like my issue in Melfest is I don't have a clear idea of what these writers are as
Mhm.
songwriters because they're working with so many other people. It just feels like a mush, like an
Yeah.
indistinguishable mush.
Mhm. And that's just kind of what Melfest songs like tend to sound like. It sounds so strategic to the point where there is no signature. anymore in a lot of these artists. And the artists that do have signature really only do so because it was before, I guess, the commercialization of Melfest. Like Arvingarna has a very distinct kind of sound to them.
Yeah. And I'm just seeing comments
Mhm.
that are very much, Diego, I said this shit. I'm sorry, I swore. I said this in 2017, and people try to come for me. Melfest songs often seem like they are written by AI.
That is,
I want you guys, before we
yeah.
even started this site, I want you to go find the Melfest finale video stream I did with Alicia Michelle, and I forget who else was in that stream. And I said in 2017, Sweden needs not qualify because their songs all sound like they're written by a computer. I said that how many years ago?
I mean, 17 as of this rate was 8 years ago.
Yeah, 8 years ago I said that. I said that 8 years ago.
There is now a third grader who's literate by the point.
I said that 8 years ago. All their songs sound like they're written by algorithms to have the maximum capability of going viral.
And
You
I
can
mean,
find
they
that
succeeded
stream.
at that.
I'm going to find that stream. I'm going to clip that stream. And then I'm going to post it on some kind of social media page because I'm telling you, I've been saying that for how long?
I mean, the
I'm
sad
sorry.
part is
That's just one of those things that's like, I've been saying it for so long. And it just seems like everyone finally caught up with me in the last couple of years.
well, I mean, yes, write an essay about that, but at the same time, it is a successful formula for them.
I don't care about a successful formula.
They lean into
There's an
it.
anime. I'm going to bring it back to anime again. There is an anime that I think summarizes the issue with Melfest so well, and this feeds into the next topic as well.
Mhm.
There's an anime called Carol and Tuesday. Okay, the story, it's about these two girls. The main characters are two girls who want to be musicians, but they live in the futuristic world where music is written by algorithms and AI. There's like their main rival singer is this girl Angela, who has a rich parent, and their rich parent pays for them to get, like, they pay for her to be a singer, and they have her set up with the biggest, hottest musician songwriter guy who uses AI and computers to write his music, and they have her singing his songs. And the whole point of the series is these computer written songs versus songs written by people who might not be the biggest name ever, but have heart behind the music.
Mhm. You don't,
I
and
don't
I
know what
mean,
else to say. I think it's a great way to just, it's what I think of. And I'm like looking at these comments, and it's like almost everyone has the kind of the same opinion. I'm gonna be real. I was at Melfest last year. The production was great. The hype is great, but I'm screaming in caps. Caps on songwriters.
that is their biggest issue, I think, because it is a great production otherwise. I love Melfest as a show.
Yes.
As an entertainment show, it works great. But if I hear another song that has lyrics that kind of are like scratching me and like making me uncomfortable just based on the fact that they were not written well, then it's going to be a struggle again this year.
Yeah.
But they're happy with it because you know what? It does the job. Like it does the job for their objective, so they're not going to change it.
Yeah. Mark, with lots of national finals upping their games in the last few years, I'm not excited for Melfest anymore. There's just so many other interesting things happening at other national finals.
I mean, Montesong pulled up. Like, are you scared, Melfest? Montesong pulled up.
I mean, we're not going to be as upset with the winner from Melfest, I would assume.
Oh,
I can't assume. I cannot assume. I cannot assume that because it's Melfest. And Sweden is playing. One day they're going to mess up. Again,
mhm,
they need to not qualify. They need to just not qualify for 1 year. And I think
mhm.
they'll get their act together. Like last year, Lorraine saved them. Okay?
Yeah.
The year before, I can't remember. God.
That was Cornelia.
Yeah, Cornelia Jacobs saved them because they
Mhm.
were real close to sending that guy who just was some
Underdog,
den
yeah.
at vibes, you
With that
know?
apple tree song.
Yeah. Sweden needs to not qualify. And that's all I have to say about Sweden not qualifying because it needs to happen.
Mhm. I mean, I do think that a couple of these acts, like the younger ones, are I hate to say this, but it's almost like the way that they cycle through the younger acts every year. It's like they're like feeding them to the machine and then spitting them back out. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like there's a lot of younger kids who show up with like something that they feel really strongly about, only to really not be seen again. There's like a whole new slate of young folks, and that kind of also feels weird to me.
Yeah. And like, here's a contrast. I'm ready to move on. I mean, do you have anything else to say about Melfest?
I pretty much know.
All
Pretty
right,
much
let's
know.
talk about Sanremo now, because Sanremo, we're seeing returning faces, but I
Yep.
have more hype for them because I have a higher expectation of quality music and freshness coming from Sanremo.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Sanremo is how old
Naturally.
of a contest, but continuously we see these names pop up year after year after year, but every year they bring something fresh that doesn't feel stale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And no two, like a San Remo entrant who's gone at least 2 times, no two entries sound the same. Like they come back because they posed a risk to their personal discography. And it doesn't feel like it's a competition where it's like I put everything in the correct order so I can win this thing. This is like, hey, you guys, I've changed. Take a
Mm-hmm.
look. And
I've
then that's why
changed.
it's
I've
so great.
grown.
That's why it's so great.
Yeah. So how do you want to do this? Naming off Sanremo people. Do you want to just do it
Um,
all?
I could do it all.
Let's go.
Okay, so you guys, competing in San Remo this year. Let's see how many names you recognize. We have Achille Lauro, Bresh, Bruno Rixas, Clara, Comacose, Elodie, MS Kilia, Fedez, Francesca Michelin, Francesco Gabani, Gaia, Giorgia, Irama, Joantiele, Lucia Corsi, Marcella Bella, Massimo Ranieri, Moda, Noemi, Ollie, Arcomi, Rocco Hunt, Rose Villain, Sara Toscano, Serena Brancale, Shabo featuring Gue, Joshua, and Tormento, Simone Cristicchi, The Colors, Tony Effe, and Willie Peyote. Stackage. Stack, stack, stack,
Totally stacked. Absolutely stacked. Before we get
stack.
into this for a second, I just have somebody asked how many national finals we're going to have the pleasure of watching this year. I think there's 28.
Oh, 28
Don't
now.
quote me on that number, but it's a ridiculously high number compared to
It's high
usual.
20s. I know it's high 20s for sure. The
But
highest
yeah,
that we've had in a while.
so let's pivot to the marathon of Marathon Sanremo. Here's the thing. I don't like Sanremo as a show, but I like Sanremo for the music. I cannot watch Sanremo. I don't have the attention span to do it.
I mean, you need a superhuman attention span to like actually
Oh
fully
my
engage
god.
with Sanremo. Many Italians have told me like you don't necessarily need to pay so much attention to Sanremo. It's just like TV that you have on and enjoy while other things are going on in your life. But I try to pay full attention to Sanremo. It's impossible as like an American viewer, as me personally, because there would just be like this dancing, this rapping, this having fun, and then they would bring out like people dressed as animals, and then 2 seconds later, a woman is like crying because she's telling a personal story, and then people in the audience are crying, and you're like, what is it? It's very fast and then very slow at the same time. An incredibly chaotic show. 5 nights, 40 hours of straight chaos. But you know what? You walk away with some of the best music of the season.
Yeah. Mark, I can forgive Sanremo being a marathon. It produces good music, 100%. And so,
Mhm.
like, let's just this list of stacks. I saw this morning. This is the first thing I saw when I woke up. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I had messages coming to me for and about this.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm looking at the list. I'm just like, Achille Lauro, Fedez, Rose Villain, Arkumi, Elodie. I'm sorry, Elodie had released 2 albums in 2023, both bangers. The Colors,
Noemi,
Noemi, I just
Rose
Gaia,
Villain, after
like
giving us the most insane song forever last year.
Francesca Michelin. I'm just like every name, Francesco Cabani again, and like I, this is a great
Francesco.
like lineup. Willie Peyote. I'm just like
Willie
you know
Peyote was,
I
yeah,
can't
like
I can't focus on anything.
Aquila Lauro is back, you guys. Like,
Who knows what he's gonna do this time.
And the thing is, it's gonna feel way too fast because when you're watching Sanremo, there might be 10 minutes between each song, but
Mm-hmm.
still, you're like, I don't fully understand what that like entry was. Then you go back and listen to it and just keep unfolding it more and more later, and that's when you really get to appreciate the artistry behind the songs. It's when you get to actually listen fully to them after seeing them live, but that's the Sanremo strategy.
No. Nobody fully engages. It's more like a ghost presence in the house for a month. Okay, so it's probably like watching like the Super Bowl or something. I don't know what else to like. Or
So, like, Italians, I feel like mostly agree. There is no human level of attention span that's meant to watch
mm-hmm.
Sanremo completely, but you at least walk away with good music,
Yeah, yeah.
which
No,
I mean,
I'm like
national finals should be. That's all it should
exactly.
be.
It's like I don't want to sit there and just be like. For me, I think what it is like you can have it on the TV and do other
Mhm.
stuff, and like and then at okay, now a song, now let me kind of pay attention to this if it's
Yeah.
something that catches my attention. But like I kind of think it's like listening to the radio because you don't have to like watch it.
Mhm.
You can just have it passively on in the background when you do other things.
Mhm.
And I think it really works. I think, and I'm not gonna lie, if you've never cooked to a San Remo playlist, you should.
Try it. No, you need to try it because that is so much fun.
And you
It is
should.
so
I'm
much
not
fun.
gonna lie. Like if I had to make like a bunch of bread once, and I just had like San Remo playlist and on in the background, and I
Mhm.
was like, oh, this works. It works well for that.
It makes the
Um,
quality of my food better sometimes.
I mean, hey, that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like I can't help but want to. I'm excited. Like I'm not a big fan of Italy at Eurovision, typically speaking, I don't think. But
Mhm.
I do like the fact that with San Remo, we're getting things that are very fresh and don't feel stale. And
Mhm.
that's like my whole point as to what I was saying before. Because I don't have a songwriter list in front of me right now, but I'm sure there's plenty of songs that I can recognize the songwriters on
Mhm.
and go, okay, this is the song, this is the producer, whatever, and still have excitement in me for it because it's gonna still sound fresh. It's like San
They're
Remo, the
forced to
point of
push their
doing it,
boundaries.
yeah, the point of doing San Remo is I'm an artist, I'm a big established act, or I'm might be not the most established act ever, but I'm here, I'm got this huge platform in front of me, and I'm gonna send a song that makes people want to buy my music.
Mhm.
It's a great advertisement.
And it only really would be able to function well if outside of San Remo, the artists were challenging themselves to make a different sound. Because I mean, as easy as it could be to kind of do what Melfest is doing and say like, okay, you want to come back? We'll throw these songwriters at you. As easy as that could be, they know the value of what it means to come back on screen and show people that like no artist should be one dimensional.
Like, like it allows you within this like kind of restricted space of we have an orchestra, old fashioned AF having an orchestra. We have a stage. It doesn't really do a lot of stuff. You have to rise the occasion with the music.
Yeah,
And that's what's
agree.
happening continuously with San Remo.
And also
Talented,
better gowns, better gowns.
much better gowns. Also, I'm terrified of those stairs. The thought of walking down those stairs in like a floor length gown,
They would be doing
nightmare
it
fuel,
in floor lengths
nightmare
and
floor
like
length gown and
needle
heels, and I'm
heels.
just like, that is my Olympic competition right there. Like, how do you do that and not fear? Like, I swear, I bet you there's somebody practicing. Like, as soon as you
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna wear a floor length gown. We gotta practice right now. Where are my shoes at? Like, just,
I mean,
oh my gosh.
thankfully, there's gonna be probably the host there to help you down because that's usually what happens if you see like the act struggling to come down. But then again, these are very shiny, very steep looking steps.
Those stairs terrify me.
Yeah.
Those stairs scare me if I'm in tennis shoes and it's like coming
And
down
you
the
just aren't looking
escalator.
where you're going. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're scary.
yeah.
Mark says, "How many San Remo songs does it take to marinate this chicken?" Depends on the
Well, it
marination
depends.
technique. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
depends.
depends. Are we doing just a cut of chicken, or are we doing
A
like a whole
chicken.
roast chicken?
Yeah.
Because like if it's a whole roast chicken, you want to like salt that beforehand, set it in the
Mhm.
like fridge on a rack, uncovered for about 24 hours. Let the salt really marinate in there.
Mm-hmm.
and then like soak into the skin and everything, and then like a nice compote butter, like not compote, like a like a nice compound butter, not compote. Compote is like fruit. Like a nice compound butter. I like orange zest with like your standard poultry seasonings, mix in
Mm-hmm.
the butter, get that under the skin when you're ready to bake it, nice and crispy. And just, oh, I love a roasted chicken.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make a roasted chicken.
But it depends, Mark. Sometimes it's more than just an entire Sanremo.
Yeah, sometimes you need
Yeah.
to go like 3 Sanremos.
Mm-hmm.
If you are just doing like a cut of meat, like a chicken breast, you salt that, 30 minutes before you cook it, put on what? 10 Sanremo songs. You're good to go.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Sanremo songs tend to be longer than Eurovision songs, so maybe even like 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like for me, I like the fact that we got the
Melodifestivalen.
song, we got the artist from I'm sorry, my dog. We got this artist from Melodifestivalen and for Sanremo the same week
Mm-hmm.
because these two shows couldn't be more further apart.
Mm-hmm.
Sanremo's about the music, just shining as music, whereas
Melfest.
Melodifestivalen is just, oh, how are we gonna pick a song for Eurovision? Where at Sanremo, Eurovision's an afterthought. I think that's the best way to approach it. It's more
Mm-hmm.
about just making good music and having good music.
Mm-hmm. Which I mean, like one defense that I could have for Sweden is that there are a number of these acts that I do notice have kind of pushed their own boundaries. Like Malou, for example, has that always worked out in her favor? Not necessarily, but you do see her come back every time with something that is just kind of newer to herself, at least. So
Mm-hmm.
you do see that employment in like little bits and pieces in Melodifestivalen, but it is not the lay of the land like it is in San Remo, where it's expected of you to have produced something that's significantly more new.
Yeah.
And just like the artist, like you look at this list of artists and you know damn well they're capable. Like you know singularly that you don't have to worry about a good portion of these, and it's the ones that you're familiar with, it's the ones that you know, because they don't even sound like themselves all the time.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say now that we have those.
What's going to be happening in the near future? Do we figure? What's
So
what's
next this week coming up, we are getting the songs. The Supernova songs are coming out.
Oh yeah.
Then we're gonna get the snippets for Festival de Kingas,
Mm-hmm.
and the songs that are going right to the final at Estela are going to be released this week as well. So we have songs to talk about this week. Next week, just looking here. Yeah, we might have stuff for Vidbeer this week.
Mm-hmm.
Because the deadline to reveal who are the acts participating in Vidbeer is the 11th. So we might get them before our
Mm-hmm.
next stream. We might not get them until next stream. So we'll see.
I feel like
But
Vidbeer is happening a little later than it usually does. Is that just me?
this feels about right. Like mid-December feels about right for Vidbeer. Yeah. Let me see here. Okay, and then Peter had it says probably a list of participating countries as well.
Yeah, I also see that coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Baz J says, this year is the highest percentage of national final intervals since 2011.
Buckle up. Get
Yeah,
ready. Get ready.
absolutely.
I wonder
Absolutely.
why people are staving away from internals this time around. I wonder why all the national final hype. Is it because of all the publicity this last year got?
Maybe that's a distinct possibility, but I'm not going to complain because it just gives you more songs because
Mm-hmm.
Armenia's bringing back their national final, and I just
Depi Avrata. Wait, no, yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Depi Avrata still is back, you guys. Armenia is selecting with the national final again. When's the last time they did that? Chains on You?
yeah, unfortunately. Some lovely lore for you. If you guys don't know, I have chronic migraines, and Chains on You is a song purposely. The way the artistic choices they made and the sound that song is like created to trigger a migraine in me. The only thing it doesn't do is change the barometric pressure. So other than that, everything about that song I cannot Consume.
I got it. What the bye.
I can't do it.
Worst
I
diction
just
I've ever heard in a Eurovision song. The absolute worst diction.
Here's the thing, my sister likes it.
I like it.
So
I like
mean,
it.
yeah, but my sister's also a normie.
Well, how is this defensible for me?
I mean, I'm not saying like it's an indefensible position, but I'm like, the fact that my sister likes it and she's a normie means that song probably would have done better than we thought.
Oh, I mean, I suppose that's true. Also, like, diaspora can have some pull.
Yeah. Okay, and then we'll get at the final list. Just looking at some of these comments because it made me laugh. Peter Hudich, Monaco may be returning if I'm optimistic. Keep that optimism on you. Keep it.
Yeah.
Stay hopeful. We need that in these dark times. See here.
Imagine a Eurovision on a racetrack.
Mark, apparently Beth has tried for like 5 national finals.
I've seen that rumor too. What?
I don't know. I don't believe it.
With that. What is happening
what
with
5?
that?
What 5?
Yeah, which 5? I think I did see
2.
San Marino on that list, but then again, San Marino is it's the AC, it's the Eurovision AC.
I mean, I love San Marino's. That's been happening. We just ignore it until the last week because I can't put the attention I need to on whatever that mess is.
San Marino, like, they are very specifically so just like a dream spacey. It always feels like, is this real? Like, am I watching this for real? You feel like you phase out of the universe.
It's an alternative universe for sure. Like San Remo, I just feel like you step into it and you're transported via Stargate to another place, another time, another dimension. So Mark, I'm putting my money on 39 competing countries. I just got a gut feeling. What 39?
Which 39?
Like, who hasn't announced yet that you're thinking we might get?
And also, is that the cost of someone withdrawing?
Who's gonna well, I mean,
We have 8 minutes. We can talk for 8 minutes. What do you have to say?
I want to keep my mouth shut. I'm not gonna say it.
I will say that there is a rumor that a broadcaster might not be eligible anymore.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be until 2026.
So there is still some kind of chance that a broadcaster, any broadcaster, could still be participating in this Eurovision without the express consent of everyone who wants to watch the show.
I still think some people should have withdrawn.
I
think we should
concur.
have more withdrawals.
Because there are some ways in which participation last year was improper. And not just improper, but also kind of set a new standard for what we understand the rules to be.
Okay, so Mark thinks we might also be getting North Macedonia.
You don't want to test my limits. No one remembers that.
I remember limits. I honestly, I would be down to get North Macedonia too.
Because they got some good stuff. They were my second place a couple times.
And they were at junior, right? Yeah.
They're consistently at junior. Yeah.
Like, I honestly would love an 11th hour North Macedonia announcement.
Is it bad to say that, like, the North Macedonian junior kids, like, the way they were styled kind of reminded me of Grimes and Elon? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I should not have brought that up on stream.
No, because I thought that boy had a haircut that made me think of Grimes. I just kept my mouth shut.
For me, it was like the longer hair girl's makeup that looked kind of Grimesy to me, and then I tilted my head and I was like, oh.
No.
I'm not speaking on that further because it's not fair. But North Macedonia, if you want to return to the contest, go ahead and do it, girl.
I would be very happy to have North Macedonia. Yeah. I like what they bring typically. I even
Calliope has never been out of my top 2. Never.
I mean, because she's amazing.
Yeah.
No, I think they have really good songs, and I think that the issue with North Macedonia is not the songs, it's the staging. And that can be fixed because there's plenty of countries who've had terrible staging who've managed to pull it out of the bag recently.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
we'll see what
it's easy. You
happens.
just need creativity and a concept,
But
not even necessarily budget. So
yeah, we'll be back again next week on the same time, 1:00 Eastern, whatever it is, wherever you are. Yeah, we have stuff to look forward to next week as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like the stream, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out Eurovision Fam on like basically every social media site. We're there along with EurovisionFam.com for our site articles and things of that nature. Also, the description box has links to all the other things you might need. So thank you so much. See you guys soon. Bye.